All right, guys, we are going to review solving one-step equations. Remember, solving equations requires inverse or opposite operations. And I know that some of you guys are thinking, seriously, we're going over this? Yes, we are. And the reason why, I know that you guys remember one-step equation, but I need us to be in the habit of showing our work. There's a lot of things at the beginning of this unit that you're going to say to yourself, I know how to do this in my head. Good for you, but I need you to do it on paper because every step this year is going to be worth a point on your assessment. So I definitely need you to show your work, be in the habit of showing your work. So opposite operations basically just means if I have a plus sign, I'm going to be getting rid of our plus sign by subtracting. Likewise, if I have a subtraction sign, I'm going to get rid of it by adding. Same thing with multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. We're going to be getting into some other stuff later on, such as exponents, the opposite of exponents, so on and so forth, but not yet. So basically, your goal is to get the letter alone. I don't care what that letter is. It can even be a smiley face. That is what our goal is, to get the letter alone. And we do so by doing opposite operations. So I'm going to start with an x plus 2 equals 3. Your goal is to get the x alone. The opposite of a plus 2 is a minus 2. The x likes to be alone so that they can reflect on their math life. All right? I definitely suggest that you check your work. So it said x plus 2 is 3. Let's see if that works. If I put this in for x, is it going to work? 1 plus 2, ding, 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 is 3. You need to make sure that the left side comes out to be the right side. Now, is this something that I really need to do on paper? No, because it's a basic level problem, but our problems are going to get super, super intricate this year. So I need you to make sure that you're checking your work. All right, let's do the opposite. Let's say I have an m minus 7 equals a negative 10. I need you to know how to add, subtract integers. That's something that's pre-knowledge. The opposite of a minus 7, because this m wants to be alone over here. So I have to do the opposite of a minus 7, which is a plus 7. Plus 7. I get m equals negative 10 and 7. They're not the same sign, so I'm not adding and keeping. I'm going to subtract them and take the sign of the higher. So that should be a negative 3. And I definitely should be checking my work, especially when we have these numbers. It says that m, please box in your answers, m is negative 3. Let's go ahead and get rid of our m and plug in our negative 3 instead. And I want this left side, same signs, they're the same signs, I'm going to add and keep. Yep, it worked, so my answer is right. All right, we're going to do the same thing with division and multiplication. And this is also a review on what your variables, which are your letters, what your variables will be looking like this year. So I'm going to put negative 5m equals 20. I know that some of your teachers don't like that line down the middle. I just like my line because it helps me organize. Some teachers do like a double line. It's a little bit too much for me. So how is this negative 5 attached to this m? There's nothing in between there. It's not a minus 5. There's an imaginary times symbol there. It's a times negative 5. So I have to do the opposite of a times negative 5. The opposite of a times negative 5 is a divide negative 5. And if you're not sure, just check. Negative 5 divided by negative 5 gives me a 1m, or just an m. You could put the 1 there if that makes you feel comfortable. It doesn't matter. And then these are a -4. When you multiply or divide opposite signs, it's always a negative answer. So I'm actually going to use that 1 in front to help me box in my answer. So let's check to see if it works. If I have a -5 and I'm multiplying it by m, it should give me a 20. It should. Let's see if it actually works though. -5 times -4. -5 times -4. Same signs when you add, multiply or divide, always give you a positive. So positive 20 equals positive 20. Yep. So that was a review on how your multiplication is going to look like this year. Please do not write -5 times m, because we all know, if you recall last year, your teacher told you we're not using times signs in 8th grade as the x's because they look like letters, and x's are famous variable. We use x for almost everything, unless the teacher likes her name. Like maybe she puts in A because she thinks Alvarez is a nice name to put in a math problem. So same thing with division. Division is not going to look the same this year. We're not using this divide symbol here. We're actually going to be using our fraction bar. So I will put A divided by 8 equals 2. And I know a lot of you guys are thinking, ooh, the answer is 4. The answer is 4. Be careful. That's not correct. My goal is to get the letter by itself. It's A. How's the number attached to it? It's a divide 8. That's how it's attached. So I can't divide by 8 to get rid of it. The opposite of a divide 8 is actually a times 8. I'm using my parentheses as a times 8. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. These cancel, and you're left with A, or 1A. And then 2 times 8 is 16. A very common mistake is that people think very quickly their brain is going to tell them that it's a 4. That's okay. Just do your work, show your work on paper so that you don't make a goofy mistake. And like I said, every step is going to be worth a point. So this is going to be worth 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, okay? So it's not just one time you're getting things wrong. You're not showing me the work, which gives you 3 values or 3 steps that are incorrect. I'm going to go ahead and check my work. I just found out A was 16, so I'm going to get rid of the A. I'm going to plug in a 16, and I'm hoping that this comes out to be a 2. This side I'm just dropping down. So I'm going to do the work. 16 divided by 8 is 2. Is that equal to the other side? Yes, we did that correctly. So please make sure that you're showing your work, because this one-step equation is going to turn into a 2-step equation, a multi-step equation, variables on both sides, and then we're going to get into some more difficult concepts this year. All right, so show your work, show your work, show your work.